This special Valentine's Day episode of Travis Laughs is brought to you by a special sponsor, the professional drivers at the Drive in Complete Knowledge course.
Are you tired of other people telling you what rules you have to follow? Do you think this left-hand turn has to go to this lane? Simply because there's a big white line and out-of-state visitors feel like they should be able to take a turn at the same time? Drive like an Alaskan. Drive in complete knowledge. This is your lane. No, this is your road. And so is this, and this, and this if you change your mind. Drive in complete knowledge, where we know that turn signals are only for when the other guy forgets that you might choose to do whatever, so watch out. Drive in complete knowledge.
So before I get into it, I gotta tell you that the funniest joke from my last video wasn't even in the video. 2 hours after I put it up on YouTube, the video where I talked about being a premature ejaculating bedwetter who was obsessed with pink Speedos. 2 hours later, I get a text from my mother saying, "You don't wet the bed." Thanks, Mom. I think the people in education hate children. I don't mean the people in the building. I don't mean the bus drivers or the custodians or the teachers' aides or the teachers or the cooks. I mean the people way up in education. The people who meet around a big dark table and say, "All right, what are we going to do this year to fuck the kids up?" So the new guy wants to make a good impression, so he throws his hand up and he says, "Hey, let's make the school lunches not be nourishing and delicious." And everybody laughs and, all right, Bob. Bob was homeschooled. Believe me, kid, we're decades ahead of you on this. Anybody else have any idea what we can do? Well, we can change the math curriculum again. That doesn't work. Every time we change the curriculum, some smart-ass nerd just makes an application that the kids can download on their phone and help them solve everything. Besides, Frank, what did I tell you after you said we should put Bessie DeVoe in? I don't get to talk for 4 years. That's right, shut your mouth for 4 years. You're lucky we're letting you stay here. Anybody else have any ideas? And that's when that really scary guy over in the corner who doesn't say much, but he always shows up in a movie to let you know fun times are over and the creepy stuff's about to start, that guy, he says, "I'll tell you what we should do. Let's send them back to school like a week before Valentine's Day." And everybody's like, "Whoa, you're the boss." Okay. Maybe I'm just projecting on everybody else, but for me, Valentine's Day was the most emotionally fraught day of the school year. That was the most torturous day. I remember filling out 23 cards, just rapidly writing "Happy V-Day, Travis," and just tossing those on everybody's desk. But that one card, you took a long, extra special time with that one card. Will you be my Valentine? Check a box. Yes? No. And you carefully put it in the envelope. Take a piece of tape, roll it up on itself, stick it to the envelope. Take that Hershey Kiss you've been saving ever since Halloween, stick it on there, and you get it ready to put on her desk. When she's not looking, you set it on her desk and hurry away. And then out of the side of your eye, you're watching, and she sees it, and she picks it up. And the Hershey's Kiss falls off and rolls across the floor. So she has to run get it in that super sweet way she has. And she gets it, and she comes back, and she unpeels the Hershey's Kiss, and she eats it. Which is kind of a mixed blessing because you're glad she liked it, but at the same time, the reason it fell off, aside from the fact that tinfoil and tape don't work too good together, is that you took it off to eat it yourself and then put it back on, and then took it off and then put it back on, and then took it off and put it back on, but now she's eating it. And then she looks at the card, and she's got her pencil there, and she looks at the card, and she's reading it, and you're like, come on, check the yes, please, check the yes. And she's sitting there tapping her pencil, and you're like, come on! And finally, she just takes the whole card and pushes it off the edge of her desk into the trash can. And you're like, kill me now! You remember that special day? And it wasn't until almost 40 years later when I'm writing this joke that I remember, oh, I probably didn't put my name on the card. She had no idea who it was from. Valentine, Saint Valentine. You guys know his story, right? So what we have here is we have a really nice guy who would actually bend the rules when people really loved each other, and he would marry them in secret, get them married in secret. And so he got sentenced to death and put in jail for this. While he was in jail, he befriended the jailer's blind daughter. They became friends. And when the execution day drew nigh, St. Valentine wrote her a comforting letter. He wanted her to feel comfort when he died. And the divine powers that be made it so that that little girl regained her sight so that she could read his words with her own eyes instead of having somebody else read them to her. And therefore, Valentine became a saint. As a result of all of this, every year, anybody who is married and gets a present that wasn't as nice or better than the one they got the year before gets to pick a fight for no good reason. Also, these for some reason. So, Valentine became the patron saint of divorce attorneys, insulin, and confusion. Well, why confusion, you ask? Well, because the Roman Catholic Church made the Saint Valentine out of a guy who helped bend rules to make it so that people who loved each other very much could get married even though they weren't really supposed to, which is not the strong point that the Catholic Church promotes now, and made it so that a little girl could read for herself instead of having somebody else read to her, a policy that the Catholic Church avoided for many years by making sure all the services were in Latin so that only the priest could interpret the spiritual lesson that the lay person was receiving. Not to mention that for some reason Valentine's Day is a very popular day to buy jewels and jewelry for your loved one from, you know, a predominantly Jewish-owned business, and they're not real big on the New Testament in the first place. So it's very confusing. Also, and I may have mentioned this before, these. But I think if we're honest with ourselves, we'll all recognize that Valentine's Day isn't actually about celebrating the love we have. Valentine's Day is about celebrating the love that we don't not have. I mean, the happiest person on Valentine's Day is so much less happy than the most miserable person on Valentine's Day is miserable. Not having somebody on Valentine's Day is a special sort of torture. Therefore, the rest of us are just thinking, whoa, glad I'm not that poor soul. All right? But, and this is the important thing, no, you fooled me that one time. I'm eating these. You guys have a great Valentine's Day. See you next time.